What if I told you that you would have twice the wealth that you have now if you retired today? Would you do it? Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is Retirement Countdown 1000. I am counting down 1000 days till my retirement. And this is a really important question for all of us to be able to answer. This is not some get rich quick scheme. We're all old enough to see those comings and avoid them, right? Right? Really, I'm talking about other valuable resources that we often don't calculate when we are doing our retirement planning. And the first one that I want to talk to you about is time. We all have 168 hours in a week. Usually about 56 of them are spent sleeping, if we're sleeping enough, and that leaves us 112 hours. But I figure in every life there are little boring moments, things like showering and getting dressed and moving your clothes from the washer to the dryer or running an errand, that sort of thing that you really don't want to chart as an activity, but you just can't avoid them. So I like to see we just have an even 100 hours a week of time that is at our discretion each week. So I visualize that as a 10 by 10 grid because that's something you can kind of fill in and have some fun with if you want. I have a job with some evening meetings. I have some weekend responsibilities. I do some work from home. So I don't work a normal 40-hour week. My week's more like 50 hours. If I added in commute time, it wouldn't change too much. So I'm just going to say that I have 50 hours a week that I spend at work or doing work. That's half of my week. That's half of my discretionary hours. And I would rather be doing other things. I'd rather be pursuing other activities. I'd rather be hanging out with different people. And don't get me wrong, I like my job and I love my coworkers, but they are neither the thing I most want to do on any given day or the people I most want to be with on any given day. When I retire, I get a blank grid. I get 100 hours where I get to choose what it is that I want to do each week. Maybe 10 hours will be spent with walks with my husband, and 10 hours will be spent with friends. Another 15 hours will be spent volunteering, and 5 hours doing a workout. I can spend 10 hours painting. That's my hobby of choice. And I'd still have 50 hours. So much wealth of time. I will have twice as much wealth when I retire than I have right now when you think about this most important resource. And so when you have that question before you, you need to put that in with your calculations about money. Is how much does this wealth of time mean for you, and how much does it mean that you'll have twice as much? The second thing I want to talk to is about energy. Here's the truth. Those things that I just listed as the things that I want to do, those took up 50 hours. And if I have 50 hours of work and I have 50 other hours that I can spend any way I want to, I could do all of those things with that other 50 hours. But I don't. I walk. I do probably walk 10 hours, but not necessarily with my husband, usually just the dog, because my husband and I, we don't have schedules that always align. I tend to meet a friend for coffee once a month. We have some couples that we like to go out with. We tend to get out with them maybe once a quarter or something like that. That barely resonates as time spent on my weekly calendar when you divide it up for once a week. And the other things, usually not at all. Why? Because I don't have the energy. After I've worked this 50 hours a week, I just don't have a whole lot of energy for those other things. Work weighs me down while other things energize me. And so I do think that I will have more energy for the things that matter most. I don't know if it's twice as much, but certainly more when I retire. That's another kind of wealth that we need to find a way to calculate, that we will have a wealth of energy when we retire. And the final one, and this is not very scientific, but it's just kind of the way I think, is wavelength. Let me describe what I'm talking about. If you have information on any actual science behind this, please comment below. Or if you want to debunk my idea with science, please comment below. I'm always interested in learning new things. But you can also tell me if this makes sense to you. Thoughts of work just take up a lot of headspace. They just take up a lot of time in my brain. I'm thinking about work all the time, even if not consciously. I do believe that our subconscious helps us work out our problems when we're not actively thinking about them. And you know what this looks like. You have a project that you're working on and you put it away to look at it later. And then when you come back to it, suddenly you have an idea, you have a direction you want to go, you have an inspiration that strikes you. That is what I call wavelength. Some part of my brain was processing that problem even when I wasn't consciously thinking about it. And right now, that part of my thinking is really dominated by work. I have creative activities I want to do. I want to write more. And yes, I want to paint. But for both of those, the doing them, it's me forcing myself into that situation. And that creative process just really isn't churning all that much. And I think it's because on some level, I'm still using that creative part of my brain to process problems at work. When I'm not working anymore, when my mind is clear of all that worry and all that problem solving, I'll have some freedom in my mind to actively pursue those things that are of interest to me and that are my passions. So all of these things are a different kind of wealth that you'll have when you are no longer consumed with work. Money matters, yes. I am not one who says retire now without thinking about the money, because you do have to calculate that. But retirement is about so much more than the currency you accumulate. You will have more time, you will have more energy, you will have more wavelength to dedicate on your priorities rather than the priorities of your work. Let me know if you can think of others. Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is Retirement Countdown 1000. I am counting down the days, and I have 979 days until my retirement. If you'd like to join me on this journey, please subscribe. If you'd like YouTube to push this out to more people, please like it. And I'm starting to get a website together as well. You can find information about that in the link in the description. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, there's some other videos of mine that might be of interest to you.